characterized by a course of protests and demonstrations. The issue were the escalation of the war in Vietnam and the U.S. invasion of Cambodia, the ecology, racism, and repression, and the inclusion of the experiences of women and minorities in the educational system. No institution of higher education was left untouched by the confrontations and continuous call for change. At Jackson State College in Jackson, Mississippi, there was an added issue of historical racial intimidation and harassment by white motorists traveling Lynch Street, a major thoroughfare that divided the campus and linked West Jackson to downtown. On May 14th and 15th of 1970, Jackson State students were protesting these issues, as well as the May 4th, 1970 tragedy at Kent State University in Kent, Ohio. According to reports, the riots began around 9:30 p.m. May 14th, when rumors were spread that Fayette, Mississippi Mayor Charles Evers, the brother of Slade civil rights activist Medgar Evers, and his wife had been shot and killed. Upon hearing this rumor, a small group of students rioted. The rioting students set several fires and overturned a dump truck that had been left on the campus overnight at a sewer line construction site. Jackson firefighters dispatched to the blaze met with a hostile crowd that harangued them as they worked to contain the fire. Fearing for their safety, the firemen requested police backup. 75 policemen and Mississippi State police officers armed with carbines, submachine guns, shotguns, service revolvers, and some personal weapons responded to that call. The combined armed presence on the Lynch Street of Stewart Hall, a men's dormitory, starved off the crowd loud enough for the firemen to extinguish the blaze and leave. After the firemen left, police and state troopers marched along Lynch Street towards Alexander Center, a women's residence, weapons at the ready, and no one seemed to know why. Falling back before the approaching officers, the students congregated in a thick knot in front of the dormitory. At this point, the crowd numbered 75 to 100 people. Several students allegedly shouted obscene catcalls, while others chanted to the crowd and tossed bricks at the officers, who had closed to within 100 feet of the group. The officers deployed into a line facing the students. Someone in the crowd either threw or dropped a bottle which shattered on the asphalt with a loud pop. At the same time, an officer fell, struck by a piece of thrown debris. Accounts disagree as to what happened next. Some students said the police advanced in a line, warned them, and then opened fire. Others said the police abruptly opened fire on the crowd in the dormitory. Other witnesses reported that the students were under the control of a campus security officer when the police opened fire. Police claim they laid a spotted powder flare in the Alexander West Hall third floor stairwell window and opened fire in self-defense on the dormitory only. Whatever actually occurred, the police opened fire at approximately 12:05 a.m. on May 15th and continued firing for more than 30 seconds. The students scattered, some running for the trees in front of the library, but most scrambling for the Alexander Hall West End door. When the order to cease fire was given and the gunfire ceased, Philip Lafayette Gibbs, 21, a junior pre-law major and father of an 18-month-old son, lay dead 50 feet east of the west wing door of Alexander Hall. 2 double-O buckshot pellets had punched into his head, while a third pellet entered just beneath his left eye and a fourth just underneath his left armpit. Across the street behind the line of police and highway patrolman, James Earl Green, 17, was sprawled dead in front of B.F. Roberts' dining hall. Green, a senior at Jim Hill High School in Jackson, was walking home from work at a local grocery store when he stopped to watch the action. He was standing in front of B.F. Roberts' Hall when a single buckshot blast slammed into the right side of his chest. The police later claimed that they had taken fire from the direction of B.F. Roberts' Hall. 12 other Jackson State students were struck by gunfire, including at least one who was sitting in the dormitory lobby at the time of the shooting. Several students required treatment for hysteria and injuries from shattered glass. Injured and carried to University Hospital for treatment were Fonzie Coleman, Red Wilson Jr., Leroy Kenter, Vernon Steve Weekly, Gloria Mayhorn, Patricia Ann Sanders, Willie Woodward, Andrea Reese, Stella Spinks, Clemmy Johnson, Twain Davis, and Lonzie Thompson. The 5-story dormitory was riddled by gunfire. FBI investigators claimed that at least more than 460 rounds struck the building, shattering every window facing the street on each floor. Investigators counted at least 160 bullet holes in the outer walls of the stairwell alone, bullet holes that could still be seen today. The injured students, many of whom lay bleeding on the ground outside the dormitory, were transferred to University Hospital within 20 minutes of the shooting. But the ambulances were not called until after the officers picked up their shell casings, as a U.S. Senate probe conducted by Senator Walter Mondale and Birch Bay later revealed. The police and state troopers left the campus shortly after the shooting and were replaced by National Guardsmen. After the incident, Jackson authorities denied that the city police took part in the fusillade. Thank you.